Here we go. I didn't really want to do this, but we're going up the mast. Hopefully it goes well.
Understandably, none of the skippers are fans of going up an IMOCA rig, but on Saturday it was Sam Goodchild's turn to replace a halyard and a wind sensor.
Hello, it's up for the mast. It's moving a lot. You got Jeremy Bayou over there. I changed the halyard and changed the wind wand, and it's very wavy, so I'm going to get down.
It's Sunday the 19th of January in the Vendée Globe, the skipper's 70th day at sea. And as we saw there, Sam Goodchild had to go up the mast to make repairs, and it's not just him who's had to do that. Here we can see Jean Le Cam. He's sorting out the rest of the problems after his J2 snapped. Today we hear from Nico Lunven, who's in the windless zone ahead of this North Atlantic depression. Then Giancarlo Pedote, who's in the South Atlantic, also in light winds. As that group approach the equator, we take a look at the tracker, focusing on this low pressure system, which is close to the Azores, then the leaderboard. And then we talk with Oliver Heer, who tells us about how he sleeps on board.
Hello everybody, we are on Saturday, 18th January on board the PRB. We just left the North Atlantic trade winds, and now we are crossing a high pressure ridge with very light wind, as you can see. I just shaved myself and took a shower, which is very pleasant. And so the wind is very light. I don't know if you can see on the camera, but there is already some swell coming from the northwest. We are heading to north, roughly, and there is some swell coming from the northwest, due to the North Atlantic low pressure system, west low pressure system. So I think it's going to take a long time to cross that ridge. We will see. And after that, it will be much more strong and tough condition to the finish. Finish line is supposed to be in the next few days, end of next week. Cheers!
So right now we are sailing with gently breeze from east. The condition between here and the equator are with a very light wind. We hope that in 4 days we'll be there, and then will be not so easy also cross that zone, because as the wind there is also light and unstable. But so we trust to do it as fast as we can, and go in the north hemisphere for catch the trade wind and go fast to the Sable. Bye bye.
On the tracker we can see that low pressure system circling just to the northwest of the Azores, and we can see the purples in the wind. They are where the wind is going to be 45 knots plus, and so this is what the concern is of the skippers. And if we zoom in, we can see that these light winds that they're currently in have compressed the fleet. What this means is Nico Lunven is only 84 nautical miles behind Sam Goodchild. Sam Goodchild, despite having gone up the rig, has managed to hold off Jeremy Bayou, who's 5 nautical miles behind, and Paul Milhat is in 6th place, 63.7 nautical miles behind. Now, if we take a look, Justine Metro is also in contention there. She is in the centre of that picture. And also we've got Thomas Rouillon, who has positioned himself slightly more to the west. When we look from 10th downwards, we can now see that both Benjamin Dutroux and Clarice Kramer have overtaken Boris Herman with that broken port foil. When they get into the low pressure system, Boris Herrmann will finally be able to use the starboard foil again, as the circling system will mean that he will be tacking onto that favoured tack for him. And Sam Davies there in 13th. Moving into the South Atlantic and 14th onwards, Roman Atanasio should be the next to cross the equator. He is very close to it now and has a decent northeasterly wind in those trade winds, and he's going well, and he has now got over 300 mile lead over Damien Seguin in 15th place, and there's a big group of these here now, which goes all the way back to Giancarlo Pedote in 19th place. Conrad Coleman, if we scroll just a little bit further south, we can see his charge has been slightly thwarted, and he is now just over 250 nautical miles behind Giancarlo Pedote. The leaderboard at 0200 hours UTC shows us behind those top three who have finished. We have got Sam Goodchild in 4th, who has now 1,726 nautical miles to the finish, but that big low pressure system in the Atlantic for that whole group to get through before they can return to Les Sables d'Olonne. And we can see the changes in the ranking. Benjamin Dutroux now into the top 10 with Clarisse Kramer 11th. Boris Herrmann, we can see his average speed is half that of Clarisse Kramer and Benjamin Dutroux over the last 24 hours. And also 7 knots slower than Sam Davies, who's just behind him. And so it looks like he will drop down another place there. And of the group who are still in the South Atlantic, 3,270 miles to go for Roman Atanasio in 14th.
Hello everyone, it's Ollie on board Tut Gut on day 70 of the Vendée Globe. Now, we received a lot of questions and interest about my sleep regime on the boat and how I actually sleep. So today, rather than talking about the weather and the sailing, I would like to show you my sleep setup and how I do it. So as you come into the boat, I basically have 2 options to sleep on. I have my beanbag. That's a very comfortable place to rest when I have to be always ready and alert when the conditions are a bit challenging. But what's much nicer is I have my bunk here. I can adjust the angle of the bunk depending on the heel angle. And if it's rough, I kind of wedge myself in so I can't fall out of the bunk if the boat gets thrown around. And then I have, still now I'm using my Southern Ocean sleeping bag, which is very warm, multi-layered, waterproof sleeping bag. Not with down feathers, but actually it's kind of like a sheep skin. Even if the sleeping bag is damp, it kind of still keeps me warm. I've got my speakers up there in case I want to listen to some music or some audiobooks or podcasts while I try to rest. And what's also very important, I have a remote for my autopilot always next to me. So if I have to react in a hurry, I can do this out of my bunk. Now, when I'm lying in there or sitting on my beanbag, I have a good view of my computer and all my instruments, so I can always see what's going on. Now, up here we have my sleep alarm. I can set the alarm to however long I want, maximum 60 minutes. I can then lie down and I can sleep. And once the alarm time is up, it's a very loud alarm that I can only silence by getting up and pressing this button. That's it from me. I'm wishing you all a great weekend. I'm enjoying some nice sailing conditions here. The wind is filled in again, and I'll give you an update again soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.
As always, thank you very much indeed for watching today. Please do subscribe to our channel using the button down here. Many thanks to the 26,000 of you who already have. And please do take a look at sailworld.com and yachtsandyachting.com for all the latest news in sailing.